I'm Dr. Natalie Marks, and during this unprecedented time, it's more important than ever that we make sure we keep our frontline workers prepared for what comes next. For Giving Tuesday Now, I'm here to help highlight the work of the Viticus Group, whose mission is to enhance the lives of animals and humans worldwide by providing high-quality continuing education to veterinary and human healthcare professionals. So today, let's find out about some of the great work being done by the Viticus Group and how that work continues to be of utmost importance during these uncertain times. Joanne Brenner is the Executive Director and founder of Canine Medic, a group dedicated to making sure canine working dogs have the equivalent medical, rescue, and evacuation resources as their human counterparts. Joanne told us how Canine Medic is making a difference for these working dogs and their handlers and rescue teams.
And actually, making a difference for dog's sakes is our tagline. So that's what we are all about. And as you said, our goal is to empower first responders, whether that's law enforcement handlers, search and rescue handlers, military, other detection dogs, and also the medics that support them, and sometimes the veterinarian professionals that support them as well, to make sure that they are as safe as possible in their work environments, mostly through education, through on-site training and online training, and then also through advising and sometimes through equipment, supplies, first aid kits, things like that. Whatever that team needs to do to make sure their dogs are taken care of.
And I know Canine Medic does partner with the Viticus Group quite a bit. And I'd love to hear a little bit more about how that partnering helps first responders and their dogs do their work even better.
Absolutely. We could not do our mission without Viticus Group. For more than a decade, they have been supporting us by providing the amazing facilities at Oquendo Center for many of our classes. Literally hundreds of students have had training because of Viticus Group and specifically the Oquendo Center. That facility is just so amazing. And the generosity of making that center available to so many teams. It's certainly the training center of choice for all of our international students who come here, want to train there because it's so amazing. And we couldn't provide the training that we do without that support. So it's been truly appreciated by ourselves, by the teams. And without the training, we can provide supplies and we do that. But without training, that is the glue that makes everything possible.
And these teams from Canine Medic have also been a part of the pandemic. So how has the help that Viticus Group given to these frontline heroes really helped during this really trying time of the COVID-19 pandemic?
Absolutely. Well, the thing about first responders is that stay-at-home orders don't really apply to them. Their work continues. And so the need for dealing with emergencies, preventing emergencies, and then responding if necessary does not go away. In fact, in many ways, they're now facing even more dangers. And so the training becomes absolutely more essential. Without that training foundation that they've received over the years, sometimes multiple times, they just couldn't provide those jobs safely and knowing that they can protect those canines. In the last weeks, we've heard stories from our handlers, from our medics, from our veterinarians who said, thank you for that training. By the way, we saved a dog today because of that training we had, at the Oquendo Center, last March, sometimes last year. So it's truly heartwarming when we hear these stories, and they keep providing care. And then second to that is, even though we did have to cancel some live training, in the past, Viticus Group has also given us the access to film some of our trainings as well. And so we've done a lot of work there so that not only does the service continue, but the training continues even when we can't be there in person.
You can find out more about Joanne Brenner and the great work she is doing at k9medic.com. And to donate to the Viticus Group to help them continue their educational mission, please click on the link in our Facebook post or visit wvc.org and click on the donate button. By supporting Viticus Group as part of Giving Tuesday Now, you support the thousands of medical professionals that continually work to keep everyone safe and healthy. And that, of course, includes our human health professionals. Jenn Renner is a registered nurse with an extensive background in emergency medicine. I had a chance to ask her how important continuing education has been to making frontline responders ready for unpredictable times like these.
In EMS and healthcare in general, doing these types of ongoing trainings is something we've always done, but now it's even more important because of the current situation. You know, healthcare changes over the years, but now it's changing daily sometimes. And so I, as a teacher of critical care paramedics, I have been incorporating some of the advances we've learned most recently into my classes. And so being able to do these skills out in the field, we call them high risk, low exposure skills. So it would be a skill that we don't do that often, but it's very high risk because you might be dealing with an advanced airway like a tracheostomy. And so it's very important that you're competent at that skill, because if you're not, the outcome can be very bad for the patient. Does that make sense?
It does. And you mentioned one of those skills, but you've done a lot of training at the Viticus Center. So how has that helped you gain knowledge to advance your career?
Well, you know, we have mannequins and we can talk through skills, but there's nothing more important than hands-on and hands-on to an actual person, because when you have a person in front of you, it really changes things. Anatomy is different on everybody. So you have a mannequin, it's always going to be the same, right? But if you can have a cadaver or something that's going to give you that real experience, it helps to reduce stress when that situation really arises out in the field with an actual patient. So it's invaluable.
And we hope at some point we're going to be back to a new normal. When we certainly do, but when that time comes, how important is ongoing hands-on education like people receive at the Viticus Center going to be to all of these medical professionals?
Again, it's invaluable. And the ability to continuously train and to train those low exposure, high risk skills is something that we'll probably incorporate on a wider scale now. Not only will we bring it to our critical care paramedics, but we may start doing refresher trainings with all of our staff so that we can keep everybody up to date because things are changing so fast, as you know.
Your donations during this Giving Tuesday Now will help the Viticus Group continue to provide the tools for our veterinary and human healthcare professionals to expand their skills. In veterinary medicine, it's veterinary technicians who handle an immense amount of responsibility in handling patients and their human owners. Tasha McNerney is a registered veterinary technician and founder of the group Veterinary Anesthesia Nerds. They have held major educational events at the Viticus Center. I started by asking her how she's been handling work during the pandemic.
I'm going to speak for myself here and say that it's been rough, but not as rough as it probably could be. For me, myself, I'm still going to work instead of 4 days a week. I switched it down to 3 days a week, but it's been tricky, you know, not having a kid go to school and instead be home has really rearranged everything. My husband is also a veterinary technician, so his job is thankfully going on. They're a small dentistry only practice. So at first we were worried, are people even going to want to get their pets' teeth dealt with during these times? But he's been able to keep his job, so that's great.
Veterinary technicians are really the unsung heroes of the veterinary profession in a lot of people's minds, my mind too. And just like nurses, they've really been on the front lines of this, as you mentioned, dealing with not only the everyday challenges of veterinary medicine, but also now this new normal and some of the new challenges that have come about. Can you speak a little bit more about veterinary technicians in general and really why they are the glue that holds us all together?
Well, you know, I think that veterinary technicians, and I'm going to quote somebody else. I read an article, and I don't remember the author. It was a couple of weeks ago. I read this article, and I think they summed it up perfectly in that, you know, in the veterinary industry, veterinary technicians, we are taught to do our patient first, our client second, and ourselves third. And that's always how veterinary technicians operate. I mean, all the people that I work with, that's how they operate. We want to do whatever we can to make that feel better, even if it means that we might be well within 6 feet of a person. You know, if we have to get involved in euthanasia or help somebody lift a large dog out of their car, sometimes we are going to put ourselves in harm's way with what's going on right now in the world, where we might any other time not even think about, right, hugging a client after euthanasia or holding their hand, etc. So I think that for veterinary technicians, it's been really hard for them to not put the patient first and to maybe step back and think, how could this potentially affect my health? Unfortunately, we're still not good at it. And that's why sometimes in some Facebook groups and online, you hear technicians say, I'm really worried about my safety. And that's the worry. You know, every day we're driving into work thinking, wow, I'm really lucky that I get to do this job and I still have a job. But also I'm really worried that it's the day I might expose myself. So we're still going in, we're still putting it all in there. We're doing 10, 12-hour days, these long, grueling days, seeing more emergency clients, you know, more sick pets than ever before. So that's emotionally draining. But we keep doing it because, again, our guts deep down inside is put that patient first.
I want to shift gears a little bit, though, to something else that you're very proud of, I know, which is the formation and active group that you have, veterinary anesthesia nerds. Why is continuing education so important to you?
I think that a lot of technicians, we get a good education and a good base, but we're constantly wanting to know why. So there's always that question of why. Why are we giving that drug that you're asking us to give? Why are we putting the patient in this recumbency to take this certain x-ray? Why is this thing happening with this disease process? So there's always more research that's being done. So there's always more questions to the why.
And you've partnered with the Viticus Group before in your veterinary anesthesia nerds inaugural symposium as well. How has the Viticus Group worked with you to help provide and elevate the experience you're giving to members of your group?
Well, what's nice about the Viticus Group is that they have the Equendo Center, and the Equendo Center is really a game changer as far as like veterinary conferences go. The really cool thing about the Equendo Center and the wet labs that we've done in conjunction with our symposium is that they have a whole clinical side. So they have a whole clinical side that's dedicated to these hands-on wet labs. So, you know, all the bells and whistles are at your disposal. It is just like being in a clinic setting as opposed to a ballroom when you really want to get your hands dirty per se and learn some of these things.
Of course, we are all looking forward to the day that we can get human and veterinary healthcare professionals back to the Viticus Center to engage in the hands-on approach that helps professionals gain more education so they can practice better medicine. Your support of the Viticus Center helps that happen and helps us make sure our healthcare professionals continue to be prepared for whatever comes next. You can donate by visiting wvc.org and clicking on the donate button. The Viticus Group, long known as WVC, has partnered with local animal groups for much of its 90+ years of existence. One of the groups they work closely with is the Animal Foundation, the largest volume single-site animal shelter in America. I asked their Director of Veterinary Services, Dr. Ken Sieranski, to tell us a little about what they do to help animals every day.
So the Animal Foundation is a nonprofit organization here in the Las Vegas Valley. We have the sheltering contracts for the city of Las Vegas, city of North Las Vegas, as well as Clark County. And that makes us actually one of the largest animal shelters in the whole entire country. And so we take all those animals into our shelter and then adopt them out through our life-saving programs.
With as much responsibility as you have at being one of the largest shelter programs, how has the Viticus Group been a good partner to you with this?
So the Viticus Group is always there when we need something. They are tremendous support. First of which, we know that the Viticus Group is known for their amazing educational programs, and they offer those educational programs to the staff at the Animal Foundation because we are local. So if there's an opening in a wet lab or anything that one of our veterinarians or licensed vet techs is interested in, and if it might support our life-saving programs, they always save us a spot there. We also partner with the Viticus Group with one of their spay-neuter wet labs, and they do that lab to train veterinarians who want to become licensed in the United States. So they do probably about 10 large dog spays a month for us through that lab, which is extremely helpful. And then just in general, having their support in the community, if we have, since they have such great diagnostic tools and capabilities in their facility, if we have a case where we need a second opinion or a community resource, or their staff members have come to our vaccine clinic events that we offer to the community. So it's just tremendous having a partner like them right here in our own backyard.
That's great. So Dr. Sieranski, why is it so important to have nonprofit partners like the Viticus Group help you in the mission with the Animal Foundation?
So I think that's a really good question. We have 30,000 animals coming through the Animal Foundation every single year. And I think that importance of having a partner like the Viticus Group has really been underscored in the final years of our Mission Possible 2020. So as these animals come to us that we're adopting out with more and more complex medical conditions, having somebody in the community that has the resources and the knowledge and expertise, just like the staff members at the Viticus Group, we're just tremendously lucky to have them.
It's partnerships like this one with the Animal Foundation and with the Canine Medic Group and local human health providers that make the Viticus Group such an important member of the community in the Las Vegas area. And the hands-on education provided makes Viticus so important to human and veterinary healthcare providers around the country. No one embodies the spirit of bringing human and animal health together more than Dr. John Pennell. Dr. Pennell is not only a veterinarian, but also a licensed EMT, and he has a seat on the Nevada State Health Board. I asked him about the unique One Health perspective these varied roles have given to him.
Well, it has, and I'm very, very fortunate. I became interested in becoming an EMT because it gives me a little more flexibility in being able to volunteer. As a medical reserve corps volunteer, I was on the veterinary side, but I wanted to also be on the human side. And after I went through EMT school, it doesn't do you too much good to read a book. You have to practice. So I was lucky enough to go to work for an ambulance company, and I worked for them for 7 years. We both do similar things. If we're working in a hospital or in the field, you check a patient, you listen to what they have to say, you try to make them feel better. In veterinary medicine, we listen to the clients, and as an EMT, you listen to the person that's sick or the people around. So I've been very blessed to be able to do both, and I've learned a lot. Going back to school, I learned a lot becoming an EMT too.
As we talk about the Viticus Group here tonight, one of the primary focuses of Viticus Group is continuing education for both veterinarian and human professionals. Let's talk a little bit more about how they focus on that. What kind of offerings and perspective do they give so that we can continue to learn and grow as medical professionals?
We've had year-round hands-on education for many, many, many years. 5 or 6 years ago, we started offering the same facility to be open to human physicians and nurses and EMTs to come in. So I think in the last 10 years, it's been like 27,000 veterinarians and veterinary professionals and 26,000 or the other way around in the human health field. So it's given us a unique perspective at Viticus to see both sides and see what's interesting and what is necessary for both of them. So we've had our hand in helping a lot of people, I think, indirectly by that education.
And why is this One Health initiative or thought process really so important? I mean, obviously we want all of our medical professionals to be skilled and to be current in their education and processes within their respective hospitals, but why is it so important that we work together?
Well, I think the pandemic has made that very eye-opening for a lot of people. Zoonotic diseases, of course, have been around for a long time. They account for 60 5% of the diseases, and probably the emerging diseases, it's more like 75%. So veterinarians and physicians working together, we both have epidemiologists, we both have researchers, we both have people treat actively. And so it became very apparent from this that we should continue to work together to see if we can prevent this. And there's a lot of research that goes both ways. Animals research has helped people, and people research has helped animals. So we need to communicate with each other and continue that.
And the Viticus Group will continue to support One Health, both on the veterinary side and the human side. And we certainly look forward to when things get back to a new normal and more of those activities and conferences and seminars can happen. But Dr. Pinnell, personally for you, because this has really affected your career, you've obviously focused on One Health and it's a huge priority for you. What do you hope will happen in the future with this pandemic changing everything? What do you hope might improve within the One Health collaboration?
Well, I hope it will solidify the bond between both human health and animal health. I think the pandemic has made it very obvious that we need to be on the lookout for anything else that could cause something like this. Veterinarians are always on the lookout for something that could cause essentially a pandemic for animals, such as anthrax or African swine fever. Veterinarians take care of food safety around the world, and we're very focused on those type of things. So I think it's imperative that we work together in all areas. Some animal disease coming into our country could devastate the economy too, and devastate the food supply. So we need to work together and continue. I hope we continue, and I think it'll be even more so now.
Very well said. Dr. Pinnell, thank you for all you've done and all you continue to do. I hope you and your family continue to stay safe.
Thank you so much. I appreciate talking to you. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Andrea Davis, CEO of the Viticus Group.
And I'm Dr. Tony Pease, Chief Veterinary Medical Officer at the Viticus Group.
Our job at Viticus Group is to prepare veterinary and human healthcare professionals with the training they need to give the best possible care to patients. The variety of training courses at the Viticus Center lets them learn in real-world environments and get hands-on experience with expert instructors.
Aside from working directly with patients, the healthcare professionals we train are empowered to make a difference in ways people don't often think about. Continuing education helps them excel in monitoring and protecting against infectious diseases in both animals and humans, keeping our food supply safe, innovating medical technologies, keeping the healthcare system running effectively, and so much more.
As we've seen during this pandemic, making sure medical personnel have the support and knowledge they need benefits us all. We have a lot of work to do in helping the healthcare industries adapt to a post-COVID-19 world. We thank you for your continuing support in this mission.
On behalf of the Viticus Group, thank you very much for learning more about all of the ways their mission of enhancing the lives of animals and humans worldwide by providing high-quality continuing education to veterinary and human healthcare professionals is making a difference. Healthcare will never be the same after this pandemic. Help us move forward into a more prepared, informed future. You can donate today by clicking the donate button at wvc.org. Thank you for watching. Stay safe and healthy.